Cyberpunk 2077's 2.0 update is now out. It's only taken 3 years and people are now finally saying that the game is what it should have been when it came out. So let's take a look at it running on the ROG Ally. The reason we're retesting this one is because the system requirements did have a slight change with the required VRAM going up and needing to install on an SSD. We did, of course, test it on an SSD last time, but hey, let's just do it again anyway. Now, we've not made any tweaks to our Windows. The system isn't optimized in any way. It's as close to an out-of-the-box experience as we can give you. We're going to be testing 720p and 1080p across 15 watt and 25 watt settings, just using the low preset and the Steam Deck preset. And since this update features a lot of driving stuff, we're going to do some driving. It seems to stress it out nicely, so we should get some pretty representative results. They are very similar results when you are on foot, maybe bar like 1 or 2 FPS, so this should be pretty decent. Anyway, let's get started and take a look at Cyberpunk 2077 2.0. Kicking things off at 15 watts, 720p on low, and when I mean low, this is low preset, but with everything that wasn't already low on that preset changed to its lowest, so the absolute bare bones minimum, and we are looking between 30 and 40, occasionally dipping over 40. If you wanted to play it in 15 watts, save some battery without going up to 25 watts, you're cool with 720p, it's a decently playable way to do it if 30 FPS is okay with you. Yeah, not bad at all. Great start. Moving up to the Steam Deck preset, 720p, 15 watts, and we start off okay. We're sitting sort of in the 30s, but as this footage goes on, you will start to see it go to sort of 27, 28 or so. So I probably wouldn't want to do it this way, as much as the improvements with the Steam Deck profile, especially to the lighting, are quite nice. The performance just ain't there. Moving up to 25 watt, 720p on that really low preset with everything else set to low, and it's pretty damn decent actually. For the most part, sitting consistently in the 50 FPS range, occasionally dipping out into the high 40s, and there is a couple of frames on this footage where it does hit into the 60s. This is a pretty darn cromulent way of doing it. Now, taking that same 25 watt 720p up to the Steam Deck preset, and I like it like this. I rather like what the Steam Deck preset throws in. I think the lighting's much nicer. But we're sitting in the sort of mid-40s, dipping into the 50s. I think if you just switched any kind of frame counter off, let the device do its job, let VRR do the work, you wouldn't even notice. I think this is probably a really good way to do it, and maybe my favourite 720p one. Now, moving over to 1080p with everything set to low again on 15 watt performance mode, and it's not a bad showing actually. If you're comfortable with 30 FPS stuff, if you're just coming off of a console or you just have low standards, then this would be absolutely fine. 30 FPS is still pretty playable, especially when this is a AAA title. It's not bad at all. But this is a really surprising showing actually for 1080p. It's not bad at all. Cranking that 1080p performance mode up to the Steam Deck profile though, and it all falls apart pretty quickly, and it cannot even support 30 FPS. If you want that cinematic, just under 30 FPS feel, this is perfect for you. No, who am I kidding? It's trash. Don't play it like this. This is not a good way to do it.
Contact! Contact! Grenade out!
Oh, God!
Moving up to 25 watt 1080p on those low settings, and we're sitting between 30 and 40, so very similar to the same performance of it, to be honest, on the 15 watt. Again, it's not bad. If you're comfortable sitting between 30 and 40 FPS, this is definitely a way to do it if you definitely want to do 1080p, but I think there's probably better ways to optimize it and do it differently than this to get better performance.
Covering you!
And finally taking that 25 watt 1080p up to the Steam Deck preset, and we do start to dip into the 20s, so this is probably the limits of where you'd want to take it. I wouldn't want to play it like this, especially with dipping into the 20s, but your mileage may vary. Yeah, not bad, but not great either here.
All units in the area. Criminal activity reported in Watson.
Roger. Probably some cyber psycho again, but I'll handle it. Say, any update on my overtime bonus?
So, what's the best way to do it? Personally, I really like it at 720p, 25 watt on the Steam Deck preset. I think what you get from the Steam Deck preset against the low settings is pretty good. The extra reflections, the added lighting, everything feels a lot more premium as you're cruising around Night City. That's probably how I would do it, but there is definitely a case for using the low settings. At 15 watt on those super low settings, to be able to get above 40 FPS is an absolute triumph. So if you're comfortable with that and you're happy to have 720p and you want to save some battery, then that's definitely a way to go. 1080p, really, you're only looking at maxing out at about 40 FPS or so anyway, so there's a few different options there. Probably go with just 25 watt on the lowest. and you'd be absolutely fine. Either way, you should have a great time. This update's pretty cool. Anyway, I hope that helped you out. If it did, make sure to leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. Check out our playlist. We've got loads of these testing videos, and we'll see you in the next one.